Be pooled. Elara stepped over a root that looked suspiciously like a frozen spill of colored ink, her boots sinking into a moss that felt like wet velvet and smelled of old libraries and damp earth. In her right hand she clutched the bone-glass lantern. It was a fragile thing, constructed from the polished ribs of a white stag and panes of translucent marrow glass. Inside, a single flame pulsed with a rhythmic, heartbeat-like thrum. It wasn't burning oil or wax. It was burning the final unspoken words of her grandfather Silas. The dam remembers what you want to forget. Like wind blowing over the top of an empty bottle. Elara froze. The trees here were tall and spindly, their bark peeling away in long, dark strips that resembled mourning veils. She saw a flicker of movement to her left. A figure stood between two oaks, tall and impossibly thin. Its skin was the color of a bruised plum, and where its eyes should have been, there were only twin pits of swirling, oily smoke. You trust the thief with a hollow chest. The creature stepped forward, its movements jerky and unnatural, like a marionette with tangled strings. It reached out a long, spindly finger, and as it drew her, Elara felt a sudden, sharp pang of loss. For a fleeting second, she couldn't remember the color of her mother's favorite dress. The memory was being pulled from her, a golden strand of light drifting toward the creature's dark maw. The years shack you together. The Hewicade is also air in this. But tave me, Grandpa, she sobbed, sinking to her knees. There was the maze of her, the section of the woods where the terrain was shaped by the things one wished they had said. Elara found herself in a clearing filled with statues made of solidified soot. Each statue depicted a person in a moment of hesitation. A hand reaching out but not touching. A mouth open to speak but remaining silence. Sure's the stayed that night, Elara whispered, the lantern flickering low as her own guilt began to feed the forest. I should have stayed when he asked me to read one more story. I was too tired. I just wanted to go to bed. Amy, to her feet, rose up. I have Vivis Silas' laugh from her mind forever. A voice echoed from within the lantern. It wasn't a whisper in her mind this time. It was a physical sound, a warm, gravelly rumble that smelled of pipe tobacco and old books. The bark was pale and smooth, and from their branches dripped a milky sap that glowed with a soft, bioluminescent light. This was the inner sanctum, the place where the veil between the living and the dead was thinnest. The air was cold here, but it was a clean, sharp cold, like a winter morning. At the center of the grove stood the altar of parting. It was a massive slab of obsidian, polished to a mere finish. It didn't speak. It simply lunged, a wave of darkness crashing toward her. A light didn't vanish. It expanded, a supernova of pure, unfiltered love that tore through the great regret like a hot blade through wax. The explosion of light cleared the grove, leaving the air sparkling with drifting motes of gold. The great regret was gone, dissipated into the atmosphere in the rain and subtle beacons of the different of the crones lying at her feet.